Hey guys, it's Nice Clips, and I am back with another Degrassi commentary video. Today, we're going to be talking about Degrassi boys, but not just any Degrassi boys, but Degrassi F-boys, and who was the biggest F-boy on the show. This may seem like a rather random topic, but I saw some people talking about this on Reddit, and I was like, yeah, this is my time. This is my time to step in on this topic and settle it with facts and details. So, the term F-boy can mean many different things depending on who you ask, but basically it's just a boy who is not good at relationships. This could involve boys who cheat, boys who go from like multiple relationships back to back, and just basically players. Degrassi is of course a high school show and it's heavily based on the characters' relationships, so we're bound to have some F-boys, right? So today we're gonna just go through the Degrassi guys that I think are the F-boys of the show, and ultimately by the end we're gonna crown the king of the F-boys. This list is in no particular order. It's just the order that I thought of each guy, so without further ado, let's just get started. This list is going to start off with none other than Craig Manning. We know him to be one of the most iconic F-boys on this show. Not that being an F-boy is iconic in itself, please don't get me wrong, but from a teen drama standpoint, he definitely had it in the bag. Like, I'm sorry, but his relationship storylines were always super entertaining, super dramatic, and it was just very enjoyable, very tragic, but also very enjoyable to watch. But before we jump into conclusions and give him the F-boy crown, let's look at a few details first. So we know his first real relationship in this show was with Ashley, but let's be honest, she was a little bit dark, a bit depressing. On the other hand, we had Manny. She was making it her mission to be hot and to pull all of these guys, and we know she'd already had a little crush on Craig before, so boom, this was her opportunity to slide right in, and Craig did not deny the offer. So he was literally just happily entertaining Manny on the side while still being with Ashley and still making it seem like he was in love with Ashley.
I love you.
So yeah, it was just a complete train wreck, and he was just kind of playing both of them. Like, he would make it seem like he wanted to switch over to Manny, and he would tell Manny that he would break up with Ashley, but then he wouldn't. But actually, Craig starts to calm down a little bit after he, learns his lesson. Ashley forgives him, and they start dating pretty seriously for a while, but oops, Ashley moves to England, dumps Craig for some guy. But it's not over, no, because this time Ellie has a crush on him, and Craig, he's really trying. He's trying to just live the single life, no girl drama, but he's got temptations. He has temptations left and right, and he has to do something about it. So he chooses Manny. They date for a little while. He moves on to pursue a music career. He comes back, and he's on drugs. And the way he played Ellie so nasty in this scene was ruthless. Like, we all know the scene where he's like, Ellie, I love you, I want to be with you, but he's just saying all of that to get his hands on the drugs, and it's insane. Fast forward to season 8, he's sober now and he's dating this model, but we gotta end off in true F-boy fashion, and at the airport he is kissing Ellie, and it's like, what about the girlfriend, Craig? So that was a rough start to the list, but if you thought that was rough, let's get into Drew Torres.
Which one of your girls is that?
As you can see, this man even had the moms chasing after him. Drew was very interesting with the ladies, and I do not mean this in a good way at all. Drew was one to always go for the girls that his brother Adam was crushing on, and he even took it so extreme to the point of dating Becky. This fact alone is top F-boy behavior, but let's dive even deeper because there's a lot more. So Drew's first love interest on the show was Allie. They start a relationship, but Drew does not want to put any labels on it. Allie is just like, what are we doing? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend or not? And he's like, oh no, we don't need that. We don't need any labels. And right there is kind of the first sign that this boy is going to be trouble. So since Allie's mad at him for that, he tries something out with Marisol. Marisol's super boring, so he dumps her. He still has his sights on Allie, so he goes back to her, this time making it official. Not long after this, Drew starts to get some temptation on the side from Bianca, a young girl who Adam liked at one point. Bianca ended up bullying him for being transgender, but did Drew care? No, He hooks up with Bianca in the boiler room, cheating on Allie. Next, Drew decides to pursue Fiona, who Adam also likes. But Fiona isn't really feeling him, so Drew is now bored and doesn't know what to do with himself now that he doesn't have a girl in his life. So what does he do? He again hooks up with Bianca. This time they actually start a relationship from there. But fast forward to the beginning of season 11, Drew gets mixed up in some pretty serious stuff related to Bianca, so they break up. But guess what? He begins to pursue yet another girl that Adam liked, Katie. These two start dating pretty seriously for a while, and I actually really liked this relationship, at least in the beginning, because it was very cute, very stable. Drew had finally stopped messing around for a while, but fast forward, Katie, she's on drugs and is popping pills left and right, and Drew, for some reason, thinks it would just be a great idea to add Bianca into the mix and try to get the two to be friends. And so, of course, with this dynamic, Drew and Bianca are hitting it off again, and they kiss. He dumps Katie for Bianca. Fast forward, Bianca dumps him, and he immediately starts something with Claire. Him and Claire break things off. He immediately starts something with Zoe. Him and Zoe get into a little trouble and break it off. He immediately starts something with Becky. But oh wait, he's the father of Claire's baby. But then he's not the father, so he goes back to Becky, and finally, eventually, it all just comes to an end. He starts to just be more focused on his career, and he wants to be like Mr. Hollingsworth, and we all know that Mr. Hollingsworth was a cheater as well, so I don't think Drew will ever stop being an F-boy. Next, we're gonna move on to something slight. We're gonna talk about Damian. He's a minor character, but he definitely had some F-boy tendencies, and he needs to be studied. Damian came in as a Lakehurst student who was like working alongside Liberty to try and restore the peace between Lakehurst and Degrassi. Initially, Manny wants to set Liberty up with him. You know, it's Liberty's birthday. She's kind of down in the dumps about JT. We've got this smart young man over here, so let's set them up. Makes sense. But no, Damian's like, actually, Liberty's not my type. You are. Instead of dating Liberty, he decides to date her friend. So he and Manny date for a little while, but if that wasn't enough, he goes on to date the last girl in the friend group, Emma. He dates Emma for a little while, and then finally, to close it all out, he circles back around to Liberty. And not only does he circle back around, but he does this while he's still with Emma. But yeah, this boy was not even that cute to be doing all of that, and his behavior was definitely ruthless within that friend group. Next, let's touch on Dylan Michalchuk, Paige's brother and Marco's love interest throughout the majority of the show. I did not like this young man because he would just very casually cheat on Marco, and he just thought it was okay to go off to college and have an open relationship without talking to Marco about it. And Marco was very hurt, but Dylan is just like, no, I don't care. I'm going to continue to sleep with other people. And he just thinks he can come back in the next season like, okay, Marco, I'm ready to get back together. No, and if I were Marco, I would have laughed in his face. Unfortunately, Marco took him back, but what can you do? Let's get back to the big guns. So we're going to talk about Zig. Zig started the show off dating Tori, but we see him having this meet cute moment with Maya. It's his first day and he's already got girls fighting over him. Fast forward, he ends up kissing Maya while he is still with Tori, and he just doesn't really care. He's just like, Maya, why are you still with Cam? And I just really want to ask him, why are you still with your girlfriend? So eventually Tori finds out and dumps him. But let's go ahead and fast forward to next class, where Maya goes on a trip with her bandmate, and Zig for some reason has this idea that Maya's going to cheat on him, so instead he just does the cheating himself. It's really bad, and obviously things with him and Maya are done. He starts going out with Esme, and later on they add Frankie into the mix. So at this point he legit has two girlfriends, and I don't know what Zig had going on. Like, I honestly don't even know if I can call him an F-boy. I feel like Zig was less of an F-boy and just more so dumb. Like, I don't think he understood the concept of a relationship because it just went over his head every single time. Next up on our list is Spinner. Spinner's first main relationship in this show was with Paige. I'm not sure when they started dating. I think it was around like season 2, but come season 4, he's starting to mess around with other girls. Him and Manny are having these inappropriate little play moments while he's still with Paige, and he even gets into a fight over Manny with Craig while his girlfriend is standing right there, and this fight ends up getting Paige fired, so obviously Paige dumps him, and he doesn't really care. He's just like, alright, cool, now is my time to move forward with Manny. So he and Manny date for like 2 episodes before everyone shuns him for getting Jimmy shot. Fast forward to season season 5, and someone is finally giving him a chance. Someone's finally giving him the time of day, and that person is Darcy. You think it's going to be sweet and cute, which it is for a little while, but it just becomes even more problematic because Spinner ends up cheating on her with Paige, and Spinner even hooked up with Paige again in the next season, and I was just like, please give it up, just let it go. I think for the most part, Spinner was a pretty decent boyfriend, but in seasons 4 and 5, he was definitely wilding out. Next, we're going to talk about our beloved Miles Hollingsworth, and where do I even begin? Right from the bat, right from his first appearance on this show, he already has 3 people liking him. Maya likes him, Zoe likes him, Tristan likes him. He eventually gets a taste of everybody, but he is with Zoe first. They date in Paris for a while, but he isn't really into her mean girl attitude, so he then starts to pursue Maya. Fast forward, Miles is dating Maya, and he throws this extravagant party, and he is kind of allowing a bit too much flirty behavior with Zoe when she is clearly blackout drunk. Luckily, Winston steps in and, Miles doesn't do anything more, but Maya finds out and is obviously pretty mad, so they break up. Shortly after, he begins a relationship with Tristan. During this time, however, Miles' relationship with his dad is really escalating, so Miles is kind of all over the place. There are times where he's like a little bit manipulative and rude with Tristan, and all of a sudden, he again has feelings for Maya, and then he is suddenly into Zoe again, and it's just like, what is going on? We move into the next class era, and apparently he is not over Tristan. So he's kissing him in the pool house one day, but the next day he's writing his number on some girl's arm. And then the next day he's with Esme. So we're just kind of riding a roller coaster with Miles. Eventually he does get back together with Tristan, and they're going very strong until unfortunately an accident takes place. And what does Miles do? He starts another relationship with another girl while his boyfriend is in a coma, and I completely understand this was his way of coping with everything, but Miles was definitely a heartbreaker, and we have to give him his props by adding him to this list. Alright, last but not least, let's talk about Casey Guthrie. I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible, to be honest, because I'm pretty overwhelmed talking about all of these guys and their F-boy behaviors, but Casey is definitely a major one on this list.
Coach thinks it's normal to look at other girls. You do whatever you want. I can't be involved.
We're gonna get him out of there. He wasn't never amounting to shit anyway.
It takes a certain amount of boldness to start a relationship with someone and just let another girl come in and steal you from right under the first girl. And not only did you let her steal you, but you also got her pregnant. And when he finds out, he's just like, yeah, when you get the abortion, everything's gonna be great. Sir, what are you talking about? Why are you jumping to conclusions when we didn't even talk about this first? So obviously he is not supportive, and when Jenna has this baby, he is just doing like the bare minimum, even less than the bare minimum, and he then proceeds to cheat on her with his coworker. So yeah, I can definitely see why the writers just kept Casey single after this, because that man committed some egregious acts. Casey, in my opinion, is definitely top 3 F-boys on this list, and even though I went through him pretty quickly, he committed some pretty nasty acts. So to close this video out, I'm going to name an F-boy king, and that person for me is Drew Torres. The way he dated so many girls and the style in which he did it was just completely insane, and he is just Degrassi's biggest F-boy in my eyes. To name a top 3, I would probably go Craig as number 3, Casey at number 2, and Drew at the top spot. But as you guys know, I always want to hear your thoughts, so leave them down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.